As the nation becomes gripped with royal wedding fever, millions will be tuning in this Saturday to watch as Prince Harry tie the knot with Meghan Markle. But don't despair if you haven't yet received your invitation to the big day, as the Mail created a guide to make sure you have a front row seat from the comfort of your own home. The ceremony begins at 12 p.m. on Saturday at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, and the BBC, ITV and Sky News will be providing day-long coverage. So here's everything you need to know about the schedule of timings, and how to watch. The congregation will start arriving from 9:30 a.m. and the royals from 11:20 a.m. The service begins at 12 p.m. and the newlyweds will emerge from the chapel at 1 p.m. Live coverage of the day's events by the BBC will be presented by Kirsty Young, Hugh Edwards, and Dermot O'Leary among others, while Julie Etchingham and Philip Schofield will lead ITV's coverage. Sky News is screening the proceedings in ultra-high definition (UHD), fronted by presenter Kay Burley from a special studio on the Long Walk. Former Gogglebox star Scarlett Moffat will be the royal correspondent for BBC Radio 1 for the day. The brothers will arrive at the West Steps, walking past the hundreds of spectators invited into the lower ward, as well as greeting representatives from Harry's charities. Thomas Markle is now feared to be unable to walk his daughter down the aisle because of having a heart operation in the US, it has been reported. Mr. Markle, who was due to meet the Queen ahead of the wedding, was earlier this week said to have pulled out of attending the ceremony following allegations he posed for staged paparazzi photos. There has been no official confirmation as to what is happening from Kensington Palace, who said, "This is a deeply personal moment for Ms. Markle in the days before her wedding. She and Prince Harry ask again for understanding and respect to be extended to Mr. Markle in this difficult situation." Now Doria Ragland is being tipped to step in for her ex-husband and accompany her daughter down the aisle. She was already due to travel part of the way with her daughter by car to Windsor Castle on the morning of the wedding. The Duke of Cambridge, of course, will be best man for his younger brother Harry. He will deliver a speech at the reception and be in charge of the rings. William, president of the Football Association, is missing the FA Cup final in favour of the celebrations. Bridesmaids and page boys. Prince George and Princess Charlotte are among the 6 bridesmaids and 4 page boys. Harry's goddaughters, Sally Warren, 2, and 3-year-old Florence Van Cutsem, Ms. Markle's goddaughters, sisters Remy and Rylan Litt, aged 6 and 7 respectively, and 4-year-old Ivy Mulroney, the daughter of Meghan's close friend Jessica Mulroney, will also be bridesmaids. The other page boys are Harry's 6-year-old godson Jasper Dyer, the son of Harry's mentor Mark Dyer, and Mrs. Mulroney's 7-year-old twin sons Brian and John Mulroney. There is no maid of honor, as Ms. Markle did not want to choose just one person out of her close group of friends. Meghan and Harry are keeping to tradition by spending the night before their wedding apart. The bride will be at the Cliveden House Hotel, set in a National Trust estate in Taplow, Berkshire, with her mother Doria. Harry will be with William 15 miles away at the Dorchester Collection's Coworth Park in Ascot. The design will be kept secret until the moment Ms. Markle emerges in her gown on the way to the chapel. Ralph. Some 1,200 specially selected members of the public, including charity and community heroes, have been invited into the grounds of the castle from 9 a.m. to picnic and watch the royal couple arrive and leave for their carriage procession. Members of the royal household, representatives of Harry's charities and some local school children will also be in the lower ward of the castle. The chapel will be filled with white garden roses, peonies and foxgloves, with branches of beech, birch and hornbeam, carefully crafted by floral designer Philippa Craddock. Kensington Palace is not releasing a full official guest list. Some 600 guests will be in St. George's and 200 of those will party into the night at the reception in nearby Frogmore House. No politicians, neither Donald Trump, Barack Obama nor Canadian PM Justin Trudeau will be there, and neither will Prime Minister Theresa May, as aides have said the wedding is not a state occasion. The Spencers, the siblings of Harry's late mother Diana, Princess of Wales, will be guests. Earl Spencer, Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Lady Jane Fellows. Lady Jane will give a reading. Cellist Shakukana Mason, the Gospel Kingdom Choir founded and directed by Karen Gibson, Baroque specialist trumpeter David Blackadder and soprano Ellen Manahan Thomas will be among those providing the music, which will echo around the 15th century church. The bride and groom's appearance on the West Steps, surrounded by their families, will be their balcony moment, the most likely opportunity for a public kiss. Just after 1 p.m., the couple will be waved off by members of the royal family and head on a 25-minute carriage ride through the town in the Ascot landau, with military representatives lining the streets. This will be in the magnificent St. George's Hall at Windsor Castle. The Queen is hosting the gathering for the 600-strong congregation, and guests will tuck into classic dishes made from seasonal British produce, served as canopies and bowl dishes. Those heading to the reception in the evening will have the chance to rest in the late afternoon and change before the reception at Frogmore House begins at 7 p.m. Ms. Markle could switch outfits for the evening, like the Duchess of Cambridge did at her wedding. The official wedding cake is a lemon elderflower wedding cake decorated with buttercream icing and fresh flowers. Claire Tack, owner of the trendy, organic Violet Bakery in Hackney, East London, has already made a start on the cake after taking delivery of 6 crates of lemons. Fashion photographer Alexei Lubomirsky, who took the couple's engagement pictures, has been chosen to capture the big day as the official wedding photographer. Prince Louis will not be there, but his mother, the Duchess of Cambridge, will be attending. The palace is hoping that 96-year-old Philip, who is recovering from a hip operation, can make it to the ceremony, but his presence is not yet confirmed, although he was spotted at the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Royal fans descending on Windsor will be greeted by a party atmosphere. Food stalls and facilities, including big screens showing live footage of the wedding and the procession, will be in place in the Long Walk and in Alexandra Gardens. Rail operators are putting on extra trains, and there will be park and walk, and park and float services, by boat along the River Thames, to help people get into town. Planning ahead, well-wishers are being encouraged to book their travel arrangements early. If the numbers create a safety issue, Windsor will effectively be closed to latecomers by the police. Any titles given to Harry, which will most likely include a dukedom, by the Queen will be announced by Buckingham Palace the same morning. The destination is a secret, but Harry and Ms. Markle will not be leaving straight away. They will be back on royal duty, carrying out their first engagement as a married couple at a Buckingham Palace garden party with the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall 3 days after the wedding. Kensington Palace said the couple will continue to live in Nottingham Cottage at KP, but they are also reported to be moving to a bigger apartment in the palace grounds.